The Carcharodontosaurus. New island intro. And a scorched earth ascension with much more. You're right, kids, it's Raasclark and welcome to your regular ARK Community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. And oh my dodo, there has been a lot revealed last night during what was assumed to be just a mere gameplay look at the Nintendo Switch port that now has a specific date, with a lot of cool new additions coming to that port and some things coming to all other platforms as well in the very near future. But first, that's right, out of the blue, and I was very surprised to see this one dropped during the PAX West stream. I thought they would keep this one for the extra live stream at early November, late October, was the Carcharodontosaurus, the very final last dino to come to ARK Survival Evolved, and it's looking pretty mean. A lot bigger than perhaps a few people expected, though most people expected this to be somewhere between a Rex and a Giga, which it looks like according to this photo. It seems to be set on Gen 1 looking at this. It might be Valheim, but I'm pretty sure this image right here is Gen 1, and this actually might look like an X variant, perhaps, possibly, meaning we might get different versions of this. Interesting that they decided to showcase this on Gen 1. Anyway, there it is in its truest form, adorning an array of spikes, what looks to be a mean chomp, and certainly dwarving survivors and other dinosaurs around. But what does it do? Is it promising exactly what you hope for from the Carcharodontosaurus? Well, the devs did acknowledge during the stream that you were hoping this could be a contender for the Giga, and they seem to suggest that this is going to be a big game changer for PvP especially. And it would make sense if this is the very final last dino for ARK Survival Evolved and they want to bow out, why not completely reshape it with one dino that can do some insane work, some insane damage? So what exactly does it do? Well, according to the dossier, it gets more dangerous when it tastes blood, with each kill seeming to give a monstrous rush and drive it into a berserker frenzy, having some form of buffed enraged mode, maybe a bit like a Ferox, or maybe even like a Giga's Enrage, but a controllable enrage, possibly. Is that what you need to do for it to be a contender against Gigas? Above that, it has an AoE buff, a bit like a UT, but this one seems to drive others to fight. I'm guessing improves their attack damage. By how much though, we don't know. We've already got war cries with things like the mammoth. Is this going to provide an improved benefit? Or furthermore, is it going to stack with buffs like the mammoth and other buffs that are already out there with other creatures? It does seem this berserker frenzy might stack upon itself as well, as it does say the more creatures you tear through will build up its blood rage even further. So this could be an absolute monster. What I want to know, of course, is will you be able to take this into boss battles? Gigas, of course you can't, but this being bigger than a Rex, is it going to have the drag weight allowing you to do that? On top of that, it does have a tail swipe that you really want to avoid, and teeth like steak knives setting its jaw strong enough to shred most prey. How you tame it though, no mention about that during this dossier, and the devs even acknowledge in the dossier it being comparable to a Giga. No date given yet on when this will drop, still later this year. I would speculate somewhere around Extra Life seems like an ideal time when they're offloading the information. They're going to go, oh, there's a little gift for you on the day to enjoy during all of the awesome cool rates that they do at the same time too. But there's a lot more being revealed. So with the Nintendo Switch port that now has a date, a new date, it's not September anymore, it's been pushed to October the 25th, you're going to get a bunch of new content with this Switch port, with the Ultimate Survivor Edition upgrade, and some things are going to move on to all other platforms. The Nintendo Switch Ultimate Survivor Edition is certainly a great new edition that Nintendo fans have needed for so long, for years, and it is a paid upgrade. You will have to pay $49.99 to own the Ultimate Survivor Edition. You will get a free upgrade to this new graphically overhauled version if you own the original ARK on Switch, but you won't be able to get the DLC maps. You will need to pay for the upgrade, and every map will be released to the Nintendo Switch port over the year, right up until Q2 when you finally get Gen 2, and you will get all of the mod maps as well. Whether you need to pay for them as part of the Ultimate Survivor Edition or you will just have free access to those, we don't know, but they are certainly going to be looking at a huge new interface overhaul for this Switch port. It's looking a lot better than you've currently got, with Scorched Earth available from day one, and a brand new mode called the Young Explorers mode, though they've now changed that to a different name. I don't think it's called that anymore, which is going to be solely aimed for children, as they said during the stream, a more linear experience where you can't get killed too easy and survival isn't as difficult as it is in the normal base game, with factual information being dropped for all of the dinosaurs as you explore the game, making it an educational experience for you to share with your kids. How cool is that? I'm going to probably have a go at this myself with my own kids. Looking forward to that. Oh, but it gets even much more sweeter with the next few things we're going to talk about, all coming to all other platforms, and I'm assuming this is going to be at the same time as the Nintendo Switch port. It seems like the third-party contractors, Grove Street Games, are making this, and Wildcard are porting this to all other platforms, PC, PlayStation and Xbox. And you're getting a brand new island introduction cinematic trailer, kind of explaining why exactly you have landed on the island and what you have got to do. Still quite ambiguous in this, but it's great that at least we get some backstory when we launch the game initially. I'm kind of jealous that, you know, you get to understand what you're meant to do than being thrown on a map and just figuring it out as you go along. It's a cool cinematic. It's a glimmer of the things to come during your exploration there, such as certain creatures like the Megalodon, the Brood Mother, obelisks, and Helena, the protagonist, explaining she's waiting for you. And I've got a link to that in the description. On top of that, they are going to re-record all of the Explorer notes for ARK by the voice actors. That's right. And they did say all of them, so they didn't make it clear whether it's just going to be the island notes or literally every note in the game going to be re-recorded by the voice actors from the animated TV series. And it sounded like he literally does mean all of them. So not just David Tennant and Madeline Madden recording their notes, which they will be talking over each time you open these notes, giving you an extra layer of experience when opening those notes, but other notes from other characters. It sounds like you're going to be able to hear them talk over for those as well. It's super cool. It's very interesting to see this so late into ARK's life cycle. A lot of resources pulled into recording every note, wonderfully voice acted in these examples by Madeline Madden and David Tennant. David Tennant absolutely kills it, and yeah, in this one that we got to hear last night was wonderfully executed. I've got a stream, you can go and watch this if you want to see me and my live reactions. But then, out the blue, yes, we knew it was coming, but I'm very surprised they revealed, spoiled, I guess in a way, the Scorched Earth Ascension. After years of you asking for this, it is finally upon us. A full trailer of what happens when you beat the Manticore. It does seem to be the case. There doesn't seem to be any tech cave to explore here. It is simply the cinematic that's going to play after you beat the Manticore. Maybe it's only going to happen when you beat it on alpha. Is there going to be additional levels when you do beat it? I don't know. The devs didn't mention that at all, though if it is just for beating the Manticore, I'd be very surprised at that. But I've got to say, for Ascensions, this is by far probably one of my favourites, as it shows you being sent from Scorched Earth, taking you to another ARK, not Aberration as it appears to be, a brand new ARK that you were almost going to visit, but boom, you get launched, you get sent away through time and space to Aberration by Mr. Rockwell himself. It's a very cool new cinematic, re-recorded in musical senses by the wonderfully talented Gareth Coker. And again, all of that section that I just covered does seem to be coming to all platforms. And again, I would guess at the end of October when this Switch port arrives. Who knows, we might see it a bit earlier, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Can't wait to see and react to Scorched Earth in proper 4K HD quality and see if there's any new elements with that when it arrives. But we're not stopping there. Oh no, the devs went on to talk about even more things. So we got a brand new look at ARK the Animated TV series. Well, still a PNG. I thought we might see a bit of trailer, but no, it is just that. But with a brand new score to listen to, performed once again by Gareth Coker, which led into the big dogs. Jesse and Jeremy, co-founders of Wildcard, talking all about the musical scores with Gareth Coker, but they delved into a bit more than that. Firstly, ARK the Animated TV series, whilst they talked about some of the wonderful scores that are coming your way, they didn't offer any idea again on date or platform. They need to say something soon because 2022 is still when it's dated and there is only 4 months left of this year. So come on guys, you gotta tell us. I got a feeling it might be pushed back at this rate. Maybe we might see it at Christmas, but nothing more was discussed there. Though I do implore you to go and watch this. It was really fascinating to hear the guys talk about simply the music and how it's woven into all of the characters and scenes, and how they're specifically using the main theme in crucial moments for this TV series. And as this chat developed, the devs gave away tidbits surrounding ARK 2 and what to expect. They were still a bit mysterious, a bit ambiguous, but it sounds like, one, we are going to see a lot more cinematics for ARK 2, something they said they wanted and regretted they couldn't do with ARK 1 and replaced it with dossiers to give a story, but they want to go cinematic heavy with the sequel, so you're going to see a lot more of that. They talked about Big Vin Santiago being the protagonist and his daughter being the co-protagonist, and they seem to talk about that a lot, alluding to perhaps we are going to be playing as these. Maybe they are simply just cinematics we get to watch as it unfolds, but I'm still convinced there's going to be some form of single player campaign where you do play as Big Vin and looking after your daughter out in the wild. Speaking of the world, they talked about that even more. They discussed world events where Brontos would go to a lake to take a little drink, and specifically arenas, PvP arenas, something they wanted to do with ARK 1, but for whatever reason they couldn't execute it as well as they want. I'm guessing that's why they provided SOTF, but they talked along the lines of using the concept of gauntlets, the missions you get in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and having them in a real world open environment for ARK 2 that you can battle other players in. And could it be a possibility that perhaps PvP is going to be simply narrowed down to these arenas in a big open world environment? Again, the environment, they went into detail about that. They are looking to pull away from survival and look more at sandbox. They didn't say the word sandbox, though they have mentioned this before on social media pages. They seem to be pushing that narrative, that word, those words. Sandbox, no, it's one word, sandbox. But they were very clear about removing the hardcore survival that you're used to. Of course, there's other things like the third person, Dark Souls gameplay. They discussed a lot, especially about inspirations and a lot of expectations. This is promising a lot, though it doesn't seem like this is ready anytime soon. During this chat, they were still discussing ideas, things, great new things they could implement into this sequel, leading me to speculate, are we really going to see this in the first 6 months of next year? I don't know. I don't know. If we're still at concept stage with the game, yes, I know this is something you could drop in it later on. I'm a little doubtful that we're going to see it as early as expected, but hopefully not. Hopefully we do see ARK 2 early next year, in the first half anyway. But never fear, we are going to see much more of ARK 2. The devs kind of alluded to during the extra live stream, as I've been guessing for a long time, which is going to be dropping around early November, late October, where the devs normally offload a bunch of information. As I guessed, we are going to see a lot of ARK 2 stuff there. So, woo! That's a lot to go through. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, comment below. Let me know. Again, I've got trailers to the Scorched Earth Ascension and the Island intro already uploaded. And the whole thing, me live reacting to it. If you want to watch that, it's 2 hours long though. So, you know, if you've got a bit of spare time whilst you're eating your breakfast, dinner or tea, then you can go and do it. Have a cup of cocoa. Watch them react with me live, because I did pull some funny faces. So, I gotta go lie down because I got raided last night. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace out.